Welcome back, everyone. So we're back at Area 18 to take a look at the Aegis Idris experience. I recently did a review or a look at the Idris-M. This surprisingly is an Idris-P. So we'll take a look at it. I was going back and forth on whether I wanted to show this, but yeah. So we're back at, this is the admin office, and you can follow through to the elevators. This leads to where you can go to buy ship weapons as well. But yeah, there's a elevator. Everyone else will be going, just go to where everyone else is in these Invictus flags and head on up. So I was torn on whether I wanted to show this or not, but I definitely wanted to capture just the whole experience of everything going on at this point and kind of see the evolution of the Idris. And again, because this is an Idris-P, I recently did a look and a walkthrough of a tour of an Idris, but it was the Idris-M. So there's a couple things up here. You can see they're kind of doing promoting of recruitment, standard fare for Invictus, as well as there's this turret. You'll also note there's a number of ships here in PTU. That's because there's a current issue with Area 18 where people can get their ships over towards the city. It's been like this the whole PT wave. Hopefully they'll clear that out before live. As we go through the docking collar here, you'll see, so the docking collar is towards the front of the ship. There is a bridgeway, a causeway you can go across back and forth, but we're going to head around the outside here. So this whole bridge area, or this whole walkway is on each side. So there's an EVA room on each side here, and it's mirrored on each side. But we'll take a look. So the cargo bay is the first one that kind of stands out, and this is what made me know that it was an Idris-P, because this is actually the missile room in the Idris-M. So you can see here, a nice little room. The challenge I have with it is that I don't think there's any elevators here. So unless they make this middle part an elevator, which I don't think is intended to be, there's no way to get very big boxes in here. So I don't know the full intent of this room, except for to say, I mean, it should be a lockable grid in here, and it maybe it's a secure room, but you'd have to get small boxes through that doorway. Otherwise, there's no other way to really get boxes in here, except for maybe auto loading. Making our way through, we're going to head back to the front here. So we are going to the front of the ship. This is the med bay. And this looks to also match what the Idris-M has as well. So it appears to be a size 1 bed. So there's an admin office here, but there's a size 1 bed, I believe, on the right-hand side. At least it is on the Idris-M. So I'm assuming it's the same here. A tier 1 bed, if you will. And 4 tier 3 beds here in the opposite room. I do try to get in here, but it won't let me in. So yeah, 4 size tier 3 or size 3 beds as well. And again, each of these different doorways, we're in the middle of the ship here. These rooms are all in the middle of above the hangar and in the middle of the ship, so that's why there's an entrance in each side. Going through here, you can see there's going to be more escape pods, and this is going to be the front turret as well. So we're at the very tip of the ship here, at the very front. And again, escape pods out one side, and there is the main turret up here, one of the turrets. I didn't get a chance to see the outside of the ship because there's a lot of people in the seats and stuff like that, and I don't know if this has the K kit or not, but there is possibly a gun up front, or possibly it's just not there, which would be good. If it's missing, again, this is meant to be the Idris-P because it doesn't have the missile room. So if you're looking to get the front turret, just make your way through towards the med bay, and you can get to the front turret. Heading back out, we're going to head back around towards the medical bay because, again, we're at the very front here. So now we're going to follow the walkway around the other side. Again, it's mirrored on each side. So here's the med bay again on the right-hand side, and we'll also pass up the cargo area, the first cargo at the cargo bay, and then there's a cargo room as well that we'll see towards the back of the ship. Also the same EVA room that was available on the other side with some of the EVA suit rooms, and then the left-hand side here you'll see is the docking port on the other side, but it's going to lead out of the ship. So there's a walkway again that you can go off to the other side if you'd like, onto the port side. Going up here, you can see the captain's quarters. So we'll go through here, just take a look at the captain's quarters and see its current state. There's a room off to the side here. That's going to be the bathroom. So that's going to lead towards the mess hall. We'll see that again once we get back through that way. But you can see the captain's quarters on the left-hand side. Unfortunately, the EXO side is closed off, so we won't get to see that today. But this room looks to be the same as the Idris-M room that I just looked at. So I don't know what other changes they might make before this gets launched. This room doesn't look as cool. I don't like this little office as much as I like the Polaris one. I think they did a really good job with the Polaris one. However, I do like the living amenities and living quarters more than I like the Polaris living quarters because there's not many ones to speak of. Sorry about the glare. I was trying to show that shelf off, but it just glared. Kind of a black TV screen here. Nothing going on. And this little area has the Reclaimer vibe. The storage and stuff wasn't working. I didn't try it in this ship, but it wasn't working in the Idris-M. So I'm assuming a lot of the storage isn't working here. Nice little living quarters. And then the EXO side, if you want to see the EXO room, feel free to check out my Idris-M video. I was able to get in there in that video, but I can't in this one. Again, there's the bathroom section again, and we'll see that here in a bit as we go back around towards the mess hall and ultimately into the crew quarters, which unfortunately is not working correctly, and we'll see that here in a bit. So on one side is the control room. We'll make our way back through there towards the end, but there's a control room down there. That's going to lead down to the hangar. Additionally, you can see there's the mess hall here, which is going to be interconnected with the captain's court, like the bathroom section we just looked at. So we'll see that first, and then we'll essentially see the crew's quarters. As you see, there's also another entryway there from the opposite side of the hallway, which we've already gone down. So it's down here, and off and to the left is back down to the captain's quarters. That's the same doorway we just saw. So that captain's quarters, you can come through here to get to the mess hall if you'd like to. However, on the other side, if you go through here, we're going to get to the crew quarters. Now, unfortunately, again, the crew quarters is not working as intended. There should be a bunch of bunk beds in here, similar to like the the Idris-M, and similar to what's going on with the Hammerhead, but unfortunately, they're not loading yet. So this is the first and really the only major part I didn't see that's working. However, it's working on the Idris-M, and they look very similar. So this is the pilot rooms in the back here. There's only 2 of them, which is kind of surprising because there's enough room for enough ships that I would think they would have more of them. But maybe senior pilots get to stay back here, and the other pilots, younger pilots, stay in here with the rest of the crew. Don't know, but anyways, kind of interesting. And there's also another shower section / bathroom area back here. I don't go down there again. I already did see this in the Idris-M video. I try not to make these too terribly long. It's already going to be over 20 minutes, but yeah. I'll try to be a concise tour, if you will. And everyone will get a chance to take a look at it during Invictus as well. So we'll head back out towards the main hallway. Again, as I was mentioning before, just that one room, the crew quarters, appears to be the only one that's not working quite right. It's the only one that's kind of scuffed, which is really unfortunate. Otherwise, this ship's looking quite done and dusted. So I'm hoping we'll get to see it before Squadron 42. I know it's been earmarked as not coming out till after Squadron 42, but it's looking pretty done at this point. So it's kind of a tease at this point. And the fact that I saw the Idris-M already in a pretty good state and the Idris-P is in a pretty good state as well just leads to credence that they could release it sooner if they wanted to. They're just holding out on us at this point. So yeah, that's why I'm very happy to see that this was an Idris-P. Let me know in the comments below if there's been another Idris-P that's been on tour before. I thought the last year's Idris was maybe an M, but I didn't pay that much attention to it because you couldn't get to the missile room. So I think it was a missile room, so I think it was meant to be an Idris-M. Armory here. So on one side is going to be the actual armory itself. On the other side is the shooting range, and there's also more armory sectioning here as well. So there's almost kind of 2 armories, if you will. The other main armory, though, room has areas to put your suits. So they have suit lockers. Back here is going to be the escape pods. So there are a number of escape pods on each side. Now this is going to mirror, the brig is on the other side. This is the outside of the ship, like the outer arm that you see. That's going to be what's going on here. So we'll go back down that. I'll end up showing you where the escape pods lead to, but we're going to go up to the bridge here. But again, on that side, it's going to be the armory. On the other side, it's going to be the brig, but you'll also be able to get up to the bridge if you'd like to. Now there's turrets on each side. There are 4 turrets in total, so there's 2 on each side. And there's a nice little view out there as well if you want to take a look out. And there's the other turret as well. And then we'll head up to the bridge. There's really 3 ways to get to the bridge. There's 2 stairways, 1 on each side. We're just taking one of the sides. And in the back, there's an elevator as well, which we won't go in the elevator, but I'll point it out. So there's the elevator if you wanted to take that way to get through the bridge. And back here, those are remote turrets. Those give access to the remote turrets. And up here is the bridge. So there's the pilot on either side. I think you could pilot from either side. If not, at least the left one works. And then you have the captain, which we've got a Van Duel currently captaining the ship. And then, of course, you see the Hammerhead out in the main area. So you won't see the Hammerhead and all kinds of stuff typically. But yeah, again, because of that bug, it allows us to kind of see the state of the game. Again, this is PTU, so I imagine it'll work better in live. Heading back down, we'll head back to the hallway like we were before, and I'll make our way back to the cargo bay, and ultimately back around, and eventually to the hangar as well. So there's a walkway, just like the section where you have the docking ports. There's also a walkway there at the bridge where you can go across if you'd like to, and you can also see the hangar down below. We'll see that here in a bit. I just skipped it for now. Here's the cargo bay, and we're getting definitely towards the back of the ship because the cargo bay is towards the back, and there's a cargo elevator on each side, freight elevator. And I did show that in my Idris-M, some of the testing. I got 16 SU boxes up there. They're kind of weird. You have to kind of finagle them weird, but we're now over the top of the hangar, and these 2 elevators straddle the hangar. Let's make our way back out, and we'll ultimately make our way back to the briefing room, which that will be the last room along with the turret back there. And then we'll make our way back around to see the... so here's that elevator I was referring to before. You can take this elevator to get up to the bridge if you'd like to. Just be mindful, I wouldn't want to take this while the ship is in flight currently, because, I mean, you could fall out of the ship. But that's now the third way to get up to the bridge if you'd like to. Making our way around, we're going to get around to the briefing room. And there's also a rear turret back here. Now, the briefing room, I like the briefing room quite a bit. Sorry, here's the escape pods that we saw earlier. That's the other side of the armory. And there's also another EVA room. So there's some EVA rooms up at the front and in the back area. As we make our way around to the back, and it's going to be the briefing room with access from both sides. There's an entrance here, and there's an exit on it. It's kind of like a theater. So you can see, nice briefing room. I definitely like the space in here. I get it. It does look pretty big comparative to the size, considering this isn't really like a carrier type of ship. It's a Corvette with a hangar on it, but obviously the hangar is a pretty big display piece for this particular ship. And making our way back out, there is the turret back here. So this is the rear turret. I don't recall this being in the Idris-M. Someone had to point it out to me in the comments. But yeah, for whatever reason, this turret wasn't in the Idris-M. But I'm glad to see it here. And then there's the briefing room again on the right-hand side. It's just the exit from the other side. As we make our way back around, you'll notice there is another room here. There's also another EVA room. So the EVA rooms are separate. One on each side. And here are the escape pods. These escape pods go to the brig, which we'll make our way around there as well. So here's the engine room. So this isn't accessible on both sides, just this side. And these blue lights are actually for decontamination. That's something they mentioned during the capital discussion video they did for Inside Star Citizen. And in here you do have the two engines, and you have two engineering panels for them as well. Obviously engineering is not implemented yet, so they're not currently working. And there's a separate engineering panel off to the side back there as well, which we'll take a quick peek at. Low power. But yeah, currently engineering is not working. I don't know if that person's a part of the crew or not, but this person back here obviously is guarding this fire hydrant very well. I don't know if there's intended to be anything else there, just a good spot for the fire hydrant, I guess. As we make our way back out and back through disinfectant area. Pretty cool concept. I didn't realize, I thought they were just blue lights, but it was cool when they described that those are meant for, you know, sanitizing the area, if you will, before you go in. All right, and we're back towards the elevator. This is that other room that's on this side. There's like a section for fuses, but I don't know if this is just meant for like FPS gameplay, kind of a little room for storytelling or what the deal is there, but they don't really describe what it is. We're back towards the engine room here and making our way back around towards the... Now we want to make our way down to the hangar. So there's a bridge again and the brig. And then here's the hallway. So I'll take a look at the hallway, and I think we'll go back through to the bridge and the brig just to take a look at that before we go down to the hangar. So you can see here from these hallways, there's two of these. One here where I'm at now with the bridge, and also one near the docking ports, and you can see down to the hangar down below. Just a cool view. Let's head through here, and we'll take a look at the brig. Like I said before, this is mirrored on each side, so I don't need to go that way up, but that will take you back up to the bridge with a little walkway, just like there was on the other side. But through here, there are 6 brig cells. I like this brig a lot more than the Polaris. The Polaris one's cool too. It's just, those rooms are big. I don't know what's going on with that, but they're real fancy. You probably could almost get 4 rooms in there if they were to cut it down in size. I've run into the same person I'm about to see here in a minute, but they never want to let me go through the door. So we're just going to hit each other and he'll spin around. So this is like the brig control room here. You can see, I imagine this is how you open and close the cells here once it is implemented. But as you go around here, these are also the escape pods, and that leads around to towards the back of the ship again. Back down towards the briefing room, so forth and so on. All right, let's head back towards the front. We want to make our way down to the hangar. So we've seen pretty much everything up top. Again, a lot of the rooms go through the main section. This and the brig, both the armory and the brig are on the outside kind of walkways. There's like a, section on the outside of the ship. That's where you're going to see looks like a walking tunnel or something. That's where the armory and the brig exist. Let's make our way down. I think we'll go through the gym section. I didn't, the pilot ready room here. They mentioned before that this was all meant to be a pilot ready room before it became the gym. So there's not a lot going on here, but previously it was used for, pilot ready room. I have whatever that, setting up before flight. I did miss out on the Idris-M showing the gem off, so we'll see it here. But that being said, as I noted with the Idris-M video, there's no gem equipment. So it's just the gem in name only. There's not actually any thing going on here. And you wouldn't even know this is gem except for the fact that it says gem right there on the wall. Because there's no gem equipment to be had, unfortunately. We'll make our way down to the hangar. Now, this is obvious. It's mirrored. Sorry, big yawn there. It's mirrored on the other side. This same walkway is on both sides, and ultimately it will lead down to the Argo MPUV section as well. And on the other side is the control room, which will come back up, and we'll go through the control room as well. Here are the ships, and you can see there's the freight elevators. So we're towards the back of the ship here. That is the cargo bay up there, and these elevators lead down. So there's one on each side, so accessible by both sides. And you can see you can get quite a few craft in here. Some craft even are not meant to be in here. There's a Gladius that's like someone brought in here as well. I don't know if all these ships were brought in. I imagine some of these were already here and are staged. But obviously that Gladius was not meant to be here. Just someone happened to fly in here. But you can see quite a few craft. Obviously some are stacked on top of each other. But even if you include small aero fighters and stuff like that, you can get quite a few in here. It comfortably fits 3 fighters. But if you wanted to, you can get, like I said, 4. If you do some smaller snubs or smaller type of craft. And then there are 4 main hangars on each side. We're above, or right above us now is more or less, I don't know what that explosion was, is more or less the medical bay section / kind of crew quarters area as you head towards the front of the ship there, as well as the docking collars. And on each side, there's 2 of these main blaster doors. And so we'll make our way through there and take a look at the hallway and ultimately make our way downstairs to the MPUV hangar, as well as the QT engine. You can take a look at the quantum engine down there as well. We already saw the engine room, but there's also a quantum drive that you can see, which is pretty cool. And fortunately, that is openable on the Idris-M. It wasn't working for me, but it is working on this Idris-P. And again, this whole thing is looking pretty done and dusted. As far as like comparing it to its status, like for example, this is obviously much further along than the Perseus is. Now, there's 2 turrets. There's 1 turret on each side of the flanks here, and these are the turrets down below. So if you want to get access to the turrets on the bottom of the ship, you need to come down to the bottom deck here, below the hangar. So you can see the MPUV on the wall. So this is meant for any of the MPUVs, and it actually docks at the top. And there's a control room there if you want to open and close. Unfortunately, it's not functioning, so we will see here in a bit. Somebody does fall through the floor here, but yeah, at the end of the day, this is meant to be docked at the top here instead of docking on the floor. So it just isn't, it's not really functioning right now because you can't request docking. And then you can use this big red button here to open and close. Unfortunately, it's not working, but you can use it to open and close the hangar door here. And as we make our way through here, you'll be able to get to the quantum drive, the QT engine. Again, throughout, I've liked to see all these different fuse boxes. I don't recall seeing that in the Idris-M, so it's cool to see a lot of that done. Honestly, if they copy and paste the crew quarters from the Idris-M, this would be pretty much done. I don't know why they don't have them working in the same state. You can see here a couple panels as well, and there's also a button right there that I just passed by where you would be able to open the door if someone closed it behind you. The, whatever the covering for this room, if you want to call it a door or otherwise, but there's 2 panels here. And we'll make our way back to the hangar and then ultimately back out the ship. We'll go up to the control room as well. But yeah, these are looking both pretty done. I get it. They don't want to probably release this until Squadron 42. But all the rooms have been seen at this point. I don't know what else there is to kind of hide, if you will, for Squadron 42. So this poor person was kind of moving. I don't know why they didn't just wait for me to pass by, or maybe I could have waited to let them. I just couldn't let them through. So unfortunately, she fell through the floor. So rest in peace. Pour one out. If you do notice, I did come through the wrong way. I came out the same way I was going in. So I will have to cut here and go to the other side. But you get the idea. This is mirrored on each side. So as I've cut, and we'll come back through the control room this time. Previously, again, above me was the gym. I like the view out here. I caught that guy kind of looking. I was like, what are you looking at? I was like, oh, wow, that's a great view out here. Obviously, there's a Polaris you're not supposed to necessarily see, but it is cool to see the outside of Area 18 instead of just seeing space out there. It makes it a little bit more, not realistic, but it's just kind of a good point of reference. So there are 3 control rooms on each side. This essentially is ATC for the Idris. So 3 seems like quite a bit, considering there's only enough room for like 3 craft. But yeah, this is what they've used for the space, so this is what it is. As far as I know, all the turrets are accessible up top. So I don't know if there's any turret controls there or whatnot, but as far as I know, it's just going to be just dealing with ATC stuff. But until that gets fully implemented, we won't know exactly what those are used for, except for definitely helping manage the craft that are coming in and out of the hangar. That pretty much wraps it up. We're going to make our way towards the front. Well, I am on the wrong side, so I'll have to go through the corridor again. And I do want to take a look at the paint job for this ship. So I think this Idris might have a new paint job. Someone will let me know below if it's been like this before. It's possible that it's already had this paint previously, but I think they're going to get ready to sell a new paint, and this might be it. So I recall seeing a leak that they're going to introduce an Idris paint. But I can't wait for the ship to come out. Again, I don't own it, so it's not like I'm waiting for the ship for me to be on my hangar, but I'd like to see some variety besides just the 890s, a lot of Polarises, which is great, but I'd like to see some more capital variety, as well as the Reclaimer, and then see the Reclaimer get some updates with PDCs as well. Nice paint job up here, obviously, again, scattered with a bunch of different ships that shouldn't be up here, but just a great ship. It's really grown on me quite a bit. Obviously, it's very big, and it's meant for multi-crew, but when they come out with the NPC blades, I'm looking forward to that, because this was a really fun ship to play around in the PTU with when I had access to it with the NPC blades. So looking forward to all of it, and I hope you all enjoyed the tour, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing this Idris-P after hanging out with the Idris-M so much over this patch. Thank you all for checking the video. Catch y'all next time. Peace.